We want to go through Python visualization libraries. The aim of this lab is to introduce data visualization with Python. You have different options for visualize data using Python. There is no best library, for example. The majority of plots and visualization will be used in pandas data frames. Um, First of all, we want to know how we can explore data set using pandas. Okay, pandas is a data analysis library in Python. It's a Python package, and you should import this library inside of your program if you want to work with pandas. The first things that you should do to work with the functions of pandas is simply import pandas in your program. This is Jupyter Notebook, by the way. In Jupyter Notebook, you have different options here. You can create new notebooks based on Python 3. You will run each command here. You can copy paste your code. You can make a copy of your notebook, and you can use the different options of the editing like cut cells, copy cells. These are cells. Okay. And then when you write the codes, you can run it. Okay. Or in Windows, um, you can use Control Enter um, to run the line and to run each cells. Okay. Um, in each cell, you can provide it with different formats. You can have this as a markdown. You might have it as a code, right? When you want to write a code, you choose code. If you want to write documents, you can use markdown. And yeah, we import a library into this programming language to use them. Um, I use NumPy, and I assign a short name to this library as NP. NumPy is a library useful for scientific computing purpose. Um, we have pandas, like I said. I call it PD, primary data structure, and then I run it. As you can see, I press even in Apple you can use Control Enter to use it, and it says, okay, this is the second run of this program, of this cell in the program. And then you can import data. After importing library, the first things that you should do is importing dataset. Okay, if your dataset is in CSV format and common separated format, then you can use pandas.read CSV, and you provide a path for read CSV to read your data. And you can specify different encodings in your data. Sometimes you have special characters. You can use UTF-8 as a standard encoding format, and then it reads the data in CSV and everything is good. It converts the data into a table. Let's say you pass database course and you know that um, we can save the data into a table, or data frame. We call it data frame. Okay, but when I run it, then I can see everything is okay. How can I know? Because I don't get any errors here. And then we can see the top 5 rows of this data set. Let's see what we have here. It's a music data set. Uh, we have a title for each song, the artist of the song, top genre of that song, the year that it was released, and the other metrics related to the song, right? Like the energy, danceability, dB, live, and some other, and pop, let's say, the metrics or some um, calculation or calculated metrics that each song has. Okay, we can also view the bottom 5 rows of this data frame using the tail. Okay, with head we can see the top 5, and with tail we can see the bottom 5 rows of this table, and we can see we have 600, almost 600 rows, 603. It starts from 0, and we can get an overview of our table, as you can see, using the info functions. When I click on that, I can see that, okay, title, we have 603 rows. um, 3 of them are objects, that the data type is not specified for these 3. As you can see, title would be nominal, artist, and top genre. The others are numbers, right? To get the list of the column headers, we can use columns and values. With columns, we can see then the name of these columns. Okay, the default type of index we can specify to see that if we have any index in our table or data frame, to view the dimensions, how many columns and how many rows we have. We can use shape comment, so I call it music, and now with the function of shape um, we can see how many rows and how many columns you have. Some of the columns are not readable. For example, for NRG, NRGY, we can see this is energy. So we can rename these columns as well as other columns. I renamed, for example, 3 columns here using rename. Okay. Um, I use rename function in pandas and say, okay, I have this column, and rename it to, for example, the new name. This is the old name, this is the new name. Okay. In place true, it means that saves the data into current data frame. And when I run this command, now I can see different name for energy, speech, and dance, right? While we have in the original data set, we have different names. Okay. Also, we can check to see how many null values we have in the data frame. Um, we don't have any null values in each column. If we want to explore the data in our data set, we can use describe, and describe gives an overview of the numerical columns that we have, the mean value, minimum, maximum. For example, it says that the minimum year of this data set 2010, the maximum year is 2019, and this is the different quartiles of this column, 25th quartile. We can see that it is in the first quartile we have 2013, right? And after that, the middle is 2015. The same for others. And with a first look, probably we can see if we have any outliers or something like that. For example, dB, we have -2. The minimum for pop is 90. The maximum is, sorry, the maximum for dB was -2. The maximum for pop is 99, and other values here. Okay, it gives a general view over your data set. Okay, how can I access to each column using the column name? we write down the column name with using dot. We can access to that. If you have some space between your columns, you can use it in a bracket. As you can see here, we have column space 1, so I use we can use bracket to create to select some columns of a data frame. We should use this format. Okay, instead of one bracket, we should use different bracket. For example, I use dot for artists. Give me the list of all the artists in my data set, and we can see these are the artist list. Okay. Similarly, we can use look or location or iLook to access to rows of a data set. We can use that attributes. For example, the location. For example, what's the first row or second row of that. Look filters by the label of the index, while iLook you can access to each row using the index number or row number of that column. Here we can see the if we want to filter the data using a criteria, we can do that. For example, give me all the data year 2019. Okay, this is my condition. What's the condition? Music year equals to 2019. Okay, and I call it condition, and I can use condition directly inside of my data frame music, and inside the bracket we can see that we have condition. If I run that, you can see the list of the records that all of them have 2019 in the year, right? Similarly, you can use this condition inside of your data frame. Say, okay, do you want a column or it's a condition? It's a condition. What's the condition? The year should be equal to 2019 and should give you the same output. If you have different, let's say, conditions, and you want to use and, for example, give me the list of records that the list of the songs that the release year was 2019 and the top genre of that was, let's say, dance pop. For that case, we can use and operator. We have the condition is 2019, and we add another condition, and we use them in parentheses. Use that, okay, the top genre should be dance pop, and when we run that, we can see give me 9 rows that all of those rows are in 2019 and the genre is dance pop. In this way, we can restrict our data. We can get a chunk of data using the condition. Okay. That was a brief introduction into pandas and how you can work with data frames, tables inside of your Jupyter Notebook. But what about visualization? Okay, to visualize data, we can use Matplotlib, as I mentioned. We can use both PyPlot or pandas. To use Matplotlib, we can import Matplotlib directly, or we can use PyPlot as PLT. So I import these two libraries, and we can use pandas as plotting or visualization as well. Okay, so let's have a practice on this. first of all, I want to um, draw a figure. PLT is the library, right? Dot figure, and I want to provide a size, right? Even if I remove that and I use PLT show, it just these two comments. These are not the comments, right? These are commented by me, so I can remove that even here. And when I run it, it just create a simple figure, but it doesn't have that figure doesn't have anything inside of that, right? So um, I want to plot a dot, for example, on my graph, x equals to 5, y 5, and the shape is plus. Okay, I do that, and I can see a plus on x equals 5 and y equals 5 as well. So just a dot here, right? We can do that. If I want to draw more than one dot, so we have different x and different y. Okay, we have 3 dots. All of the x-axis, all of the x's of those um, dots are x1, 2, 3, the same for y. And the shape of that is circle. When I do that, I can see that we have 3 dots here, right? Now I want to draw a line. Okay, we have the start point and end point of this one. We have 1, 1 and 12, 4 for x1 and y1 for first line, and we have x2 and y2 at the second line. That this is the start 1, 3 and the end 10, 2. Okay, and the marker is circle, right? I can change the marker as well to a star. As you can see, 1, 1 is the start um, for the first line, this is the start point, and 12, 4 is the end point of the first line. What about the second line? The start one is 1, 3, 1, 3, and we have 10, 2. In this way, we can draw 2 lines in a graph, okay? Okay, what else? We can plot a line based on y, x, and different y. That y is based on a function and based on x. So it says that get a number between 1 to 20, right? And then y is x power to 2, and if I do that, and those are our those are triangles, red triangles, are and this shape, and this plots a function y based on these two formula. Okay, what else? For each plot, we can specify a set of settings here. For example, in x-ticks, we can have 0 to 4. We can specify the y-ticks here, and then we can add a label to each plot, and we can visualize the plot as well. Now, as we can see, the function um, is based on different numbers that we have here. So we don't see the y-axis properly here because that function powers x to 2. So if I change this function to different labels, we can see the previous 2 lines plot. At the same time, we have x-axis ticks and y-axis ticks here, which is 0 to 10 and 0 to 10 here as well. So we can change it. For example, to show the x properly, we can add another one, let's say 15, to show the value properly. If we want to create two plots in one row, we can do that simply using subplot. And the first graph we place at the first left. It says that in plots I have one row and I have two columns. And the first graph of my visualization is the following, which plot three dots with O shape or circle shape. The second one is another plot with three dots but different shape. Okay, when I run that, I can see two graphs next to each other. I didn't provide any layout for that, just created two simple plots. Each one has three dots. Okay, I can provide more graphs here, two rows, two columns. And the figure size is 10 by 10, and in each graph I can provide a special setting with a special values. For example, because we have four graph. In the first top left we can see three dots again. With circle, I can provide this as a cross. The other one can be plus, for example, and this one should have another one as well. So I created four different graphs. Each one has different shapes. As you can see, the first one, which is top left, this is x 0 0. And we plot three dots here, and the shape is circle. The second one, we have another one, and we can see it's a cross. The third one we can see, or it's 1 0 1 0, it means row 1, row 0, row 1, first column is a plus. Okay, and then I set a title for one of them. Which one? The last one, sample title. Here this one has only a title. You can provide title for each of the graphs based on each graph based on the title, right? And then using plot.show you can visualize data. Okay, this is how we draw lines or dots in coordinates using matplotlib. But like I said in my presentation, you can draw a bar chart using bar function with matplotlib. I create a figure, I provide a size for that, and I create a bar chart based on the following specification. I have four categories, 1, 2, 3, 4. Each one has its number, so this is 33.5 here. And the bars graph is green, right? X labels, Y label. We have each label for x-axis and y-axis. We can visualize them based on different categories. I can change the color of my bar graph, or even I can create a horizontal bar chart. To draw a horizontal bar chart, I can use bar H, again for different categories, for different numbers, and we have a color for that as well, and we can see horizontal bar chart, right? This is how we create bar chart using matplotlib. If I want to create a columnar bar chart, we can use two bars at the same time. We provide the index and width to draw each column, each category in different place. For example, we have um, four numbers, and each numbers we have a value for that. And this numpy dot arrange provides four numbers for me from 1 to 4, and then I can create a bar chart first, and a little bit I mean, we have a space between the first bar and the second bar with a number which I provided 0.3, and I assign a color to each one. So these are the color codes. I can provide it red or blue for that, for example. But to have a better visualization, I assign a code to each one, and I call it boys for one of the categories. The second one is girls. Assign a label to each um, x-axis and y-axis, and I change, instead of 1, 2, 3, 4, I assign labels, group 1, group 2, group 3, and group 4, and I show them as a columnar bar graph. In this way, we have four categories, two different colors, two different categories, and it's used when we have categories and subcategories, for example, and we can use it as a potential visualization when we have two different categories in our dataset. So these are based on fake data that we had, some simple values just to show how you can visualize data based on some numbers. But let's have our data set. It's a music data set, like I said, and we want to create a bar chart for music data set. And I want to visualize data based on number of artists per year. Okay. To do that, I can use pandas to visualize it. How can I use pandas? So first of all, I want to know what are the number of artists per year. I should use in database, I use group by. So here, similarly, I can use group by. I selected only two columns from my data frame, year and artist. I use group by. I say based on these two columns, just create a new data frame grouped by year and count of the artists that we have in each year. So if I have a music year output, we can see there is a assigned number to each year grouped by the year. But year here is not a column, so I use a function named reset index to create year as a not as a group, but as a column. Okay, if again prints out this data frame, I can see, okay, I can see year and the number of artists in front of that, right? And now when I have that, I can use plot dot bar, and inside of this function I can use music year as x-axis and music year artist as a y-axis. You see, I have two columns. This should be my x-axis and this should be my y-axis, the color green, and plot that show. Okay, let's see. Yes, I have 2010, 2011, 2012, or something like that. But this is, as you know, is not the best visualization that I can create. Let me show, just get one of the colors that I like to have that in my visualization. Make it a little bit pretty. We have, okay, blue. What else? There are some settings. I want to have a title for my visualization. I have a title, music by year. What else? Um, I have even the size of the font of title. I can change it to something else, for example. Um, what else? My x-axis and y-axis they don't have any labels, right? I want to provide a label for each one. X-axis is year, y-axis is number of artists, and again I provide a font size for each one. 14 is enough, let's say, and I can see um, the title of each axis. Um, but we don't have proper visualization on x-axis. For example, this is 2010, but this has not been specified. Um, and these are fine, but I would like to have customized xticks. I provided 2010, 2011, and here can uh, have that based on a different or better granularity on my y-axis. I can use xticks, um, but in xticks I need to get the data from music year. So I don't want to specify 2010, 2011, something like that, because I have all the data in music year. I just get the um, year of my data frame, and then for this one I can provide it as a manual ticks from 0 to 10. Even for this one I can use MP range and NumPy to create let's say 10 numbers. And again, the font size, let's make all the font size in the same size, and I run it and I can see that that's good. Now I can see the number of artists in each column or each bar chart is have in my data set. Okay. What else? I mentioned that we can show the in visualization when we want to show the rank, let's say, or the number, we can use a bar graph, right? A horizontal bar graph. Um, and when I visualize it, I can see this is green, then this is the numbers that we have. The same situation we have y-axis and x-axis. Let me make it a little bit pretty. What's x-axis? X-axis numbers, y-axis is different, so I change your y and x should be okay now. Okay, so we can see different x-axis. We can sort the values from the largest to let's say the lowest value here, using the sort values as well, and we can visualize data in that way. Okay, um, and we can see different visualization, like the same situation that we have for line graph. We can use again matplotlib plot, and simply with plot I can provide a music here, music artist, and I can see that we can create a line graph based on the year. Okay, and we can use histogram. Okay, the histogram that we have, we can provide the histogram for each column. For example, we want to know the distribution or frequency of the records for year of this data set. I can use kind equals to histogram to plot the data using pandas, or yeah, we can do that easily using hist, for example, instead of having plot kind histogram. Okay, if we want to plot the values in more than one columns, we can do that. The same here for BPM, dance energy, and vol. We can have 4 different distribution or sorry, frequencies of the data. If we want to plot the data on a scatter plot, we can provide X and Y here. I create a graph plot here. I use a scatter plot. What's the x-axis? Music energy. Music dense is the y-axis. I want to see that if there is any correlation between the energy and danceability factors of my data set, I can use scatter, let's say values of matplotlib, the scatter function of matplotlib. Yeah, we can use a scatter and in parentheses X and Y, and we can set the labels to title and X-axis and Y-axis. The same we can use plot.scatter for a BPM and dance. And we can draw a box plot. To draw a box plot, we can use box plot of pandas. So music, box plot, which column, energy, show me the minimum, maximum, first quartile, median value of this column. We can provide that. Like I said in my lecture, we can use the different visualization library like Seaborn, and in Seaborn you have this opportunity to create different box plot in one graph, and as you can see, you can use Seaborn box plot function, and you can see I used year and dance on different years. So it means that you specify the data set. I used music, and I use different, let's say, palette to visualize data in different colors. In different year, I want to see what are the danceability factor, what are the minimum, maximum, and median values of this factor in different years. I can see the minimum values, and if there is any outlier in my data, I can recognize that here using the using this box plot visualization. Yeah, this is Python visualization. We have other stuff like we can visualize the number of artists in a pie chart. Like I said, you can use pie chart to show the proportion of the data and the percentage. You can use matplotlib pie function to group the data, and you can see different settings I used for different styles of this pie chart.